What's up, everybody? Nick Chandler back at you again with a nuddin'. This week we're talking trail cameras. So if that tickles your fancy, then I reckon y'all better stay tuned. Alright guys, I know we're on a countdown here in Zone C. We're about 18 days away from the season right now as we speak. And majority of people right now are running trail cameras. It's just that time of year. But personally, I run trail cameras all year round in some areas, particularly the main areas that I hunt. So that being said, you're going to want a pretty reliable camera. When you have a reliable camera, usually that comes with a pretty significant price. Okay, so if you are the type that does like to run the cheaper cameras just to get a bunch of pictures in many areas, you guys need to check out Chase and Tails. Walt and Chase do a fantastic job. I think Walt just posted a video not too long ago on a very good strap method to use, paracord with the cameras to kind of hide them better. It's real cheap, real lightweight, doesn't take up any space. If that's the route you want to go, you guys need to check them out. They have a fantastic channel if you haven't already. But for those of you who do run more expensive cameras, either cell cams or just anything that you're worried about somebody taking on public land, these are some tips that could possibly help you out or just give you an idea and you go off of that. So to start off with, we make aluminum boxes out of some scrap aluminum material. I know everybody doesn't have access to that. Everybody doesn't have a welder. So you can purchase boxes for most of these expensive grade cameras from the actual retailer. But what we choose to do is make aluminum boxes custom, because even when you do buy some of these boxes from the retailers, your options are limited, put it that way. And basically, a lot of them is required for you to take the cable strap off the tree just to take the camera out, or just something that we just rather not have. But we make these aluminum boxes out of about an 1/8 inch aluminum. Most of them are anyways. And then what we do from there is, once the box is completely made, which as you can see, we have a nice secure place. We have a nice place here to secure with a cable lock that's separate from the box. We also add on an additional tab on the bottom to adjust the level of the camera. When you guys, some of you guys, I know some of the situations, like I try to put the camera up higher just to hide it from not necessarily people, but from the deer's point of view. If it's in a kind of a more open area, I'll try to put the cameras up a little higher, but I'm not really worried about people seeing them as much as I am the animals, because I know a lot of experienced bucks will just completely walk around them if they see them from a distance, and you'll never know they existed. So my biggest concern is trying to hide them from the deer. I secure them well enough. I take the time and the effort to do this, so I know that people aren't going to take them, so hide them from the deer. So also another thing we do is we make a lid for the top. So this actually allows us to put an additional lock on here, which this here is just a combination lock. I think we buy 6 to 10 at a time on Amazon. You can adjust, you can, change the combination if you need to. They're really good locks. They've actually held up for years. This allows us to put this lock on the side here and lock it separately without touching the cable lock on the tree, so you do not have to readjust the camera every time. So you come up to the tree, you unlock it, swivel this around, and behind the camera we have these aluminum strips that we bend like this, and it basically just acts as a spring. So when we build these boxes, we usually make them a little bit bigger than the camera. That way, if, say maybe you might try a little bit different camera next year, it still will possibly fit, just depends on the dimensions. But you make it a little bit smaller, drop it in place, take your little deal here, and you might have to bend it a little tighter, or maybe open it up a little bit, slide that down inside, and you're done. And you didn't have to take that thing off the tree, you didn't have to adjust it, nothing like that, and it's nice and secure. Drop your lock back in there, lock it, and you're good to go. So that's just kind of the basics on the actual system. But one of the biggest things is the camouflage these things, because they're bright, shiny metal. And you want something that's somewhat of a 3D effect as well. So what we do is, for starters, you want to try to buff it up a little bit with some sandpaper. I wouldn't go anything finer than a 150. I would stay from anywhere from 80 to 150 grit. You want to take it and just lightly buff it, just to scuff it up. That kind of, what the purpose of this is to help the paint stick. And then after you guys get done going over your more important areas, I mean the back obviously here, I didn't even paint this one or put any caulking on it, but it's against the tree. You could do it if you want, paint it, whatever. Anyways, so once you scuff it up, you want to wipe it down with some type of acetone or alcohol, denatured alcohol, whatever, just something to take any type of oil residues off there just to help the paint stick. It's not necessary. It's not necessary, but it will help. But anyways, after all, it's just being thrown in the woods. So scuff it up with sandpaper, wipe it down, clean up all the oils on it, and then you can hit it with a primer. And here's a line of Rust-Oleum camouflage paints that I use on a lot of stuff. Tree stand sticks, just any kind of thing I want to throw a little paint on, my carabiners, just numerous amounts of things you can use this paint for. So I'll even hit up the locks too as well. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we'll also take and lightly scuff up these locks and hit them with a base coat as well. But then after your base coat's good and dry, what we'll do is we'll come back through, and as you can see over here, we have several different colors of caulking. And there's a unlimited amount of different colors in certain places, depends on where you go. But this is the basic colors that I'll use for the area that I'm in. And you can even add coloring to them if you want. Add a little color paint to them if you're trying to get a specific color, but it's really not that big of a deal. What I do is, this is actually something that my dad came up with. And what we'll do is, because you got white, gray, clay color, cedar tan, or black, you can mix them up a little bit if you want, but we'll usually take and go outside, look at some random trees that you normally see in the woods, and just try to come up with something close. But with this 3D effect that this stuff puts off, it actually makes it blend in tremendously better, even if it's not exactly a match, because it just looks more rough, just like the bark of a tree. So I literally put these things in places and I have to look for them sometimes if I don't have a pin drop for them, or if it's not in a really significant trail or something like that, or if it's not in like a real easy to spot area. But what we'll do is you just use a base color with one of the colors, say black or gray or something, and just kind of go over a good portion of the area and take like a disposable fork or a knife or something. You know, after you take your caulking gun and squeeze a little bit out in little areas, and just kind of take your fork or knife or just any type of applicator that you choose to use. It doesn't really matter. There's nothing specific. Different applicators, you can get different little designs and looks to it to kind of make it match anything. But this caulking works great. The only thing I wouldn't suggest is DAP also makes a 15-minute dry caulking. We use it a lot at work with carpentry work and stuff like that. It's great when you're trying to paint something really quick, but when you want a pretty good amount of working time with this stuff to really get it in, because when you go to put other colors, you want it to kind of blend in places, because it really helps just a camo pattern it. I really hope this helps some of you guys. This is basically just how we do it here. The biggest plus with doing it this way is not only do you get security from people possibly taking your camera, stealing your cards, seeing your information, but also we have a lot of bears here in Florida, and we've had several cameras ruined by bears chewing on them. So this also helps keep the bears from chewing them up, and possible control burns from burning up your cameras. So it's all in what you want. Like I said, you guys go check out Chasing Tails. They have awesome videos on some trail cameras and stuff. If you guys are wanting to go the cheap route and wanting to purchase a bunch of different cameras, that's an awesome way to go about it. That's all I got for you guys today. If you guys find anything helpful here, please consider smashing that subscribe button. Please like this video, and any comments you got, I welcome all of them. So that being said, hope you guys have a good season this year. I'm out.